Um, gonna get going with the stream here. A lot of stuff to go over. We've obviously had quite an exciting weekend. Everything going on with SBF and FTX. Having a big impact on the market. But let's try to just focus on the chart and see what we can find here. All right, I'm gonna start with ETH. Looking at a daily, we're basically just rolling over here. We had been watching this sort of diagonal trend line. Got a nice little pump when we broke it. We hit all our long targets from a few weeks ago. Continued to pump from there, and then the market was actually looking pretty good. And then all the FTX stuff started happening, and nothing good happened after that unless you were short. So looking at a 4 hour, we can see this trend line is actually acting as resistance currently. So in order for me to be bullish, I would look for that to flip. A lot of confluence in this area here, between the trend line and these weekly OBs that we had marked in the previous stream. We can see these acting as resistance, right? We tested this one, came down, support, went back up, tested the lower OB, resistance, 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 reject, reject, reject. Now we're coming down. Now what I'm interested in is what happens here. We're in this demand zone, so actually, for those of you not in the group, I happened to call the bottom of this ETH move, like to the dollar. After that happened, we caught this ride up. I said I was going to short to hedge at around 1310. We got a little bit above that, and now I've been riding the short hedge. Just starting to close it now here as we created this OB. I have a little bit of it left, but I'm scaling out of the short to kind of see what happens here. Nice little profit. No big leverage, just a little 2x short to kind of hedge some of my other positions. It wasn't really a win, but I was able to hedge, and now I'm starting to get out of that. We have a new 4 hour candle starting right now. It's starting a little green, so we could see a bounce out of this order block. Again, not something that's going to make me bullish. It should bounce. It's just doing its job at that point. Getting above, like I said, this trend line, these OBs, basically up here is where I start to say, okay, let's see where we're going to go. And then we could possibly go up range high, 1412. Although it's not really our current range, it could still act as a significant level. And then we could end up going to last week's open, 1568, somewhere in there, basically clean up this inefficiency. And then basically we're just going to have to see what's going on from there. With things like this, it's hard to know what to expect. The tailwinds, sort of the butterfly effect of this. We just don't know who's got exposure to FTX, who's underwater, who's taking loans to pad their balance sheets. It's a mess, and I don't want to be picking sides right now. So mainly I am just trying to hedge and kind of make it through the storm, basically, and come out on the other side alive and ready to, get back into some higher conviction plays and things like that. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on ETH. So again, key takeaway, we want to break these blue levels. You get above 1323 is kind of my key pivot level here. You get above that, and then, you can start to move up from there. Otherwise, I would expect these to act as resistance and potentially come down and make an equal low or make a lower low. But I think if we reject here, that doesn't show much strength, and chances are we're going back to that 1070 area. And what happens there is to be seen. Bitcoin, similar price action here. I'm not gonna go through Bitcoin separately. Everything I said about ETH pretty much applies to Bitcoin here. They're pretty much following each other. So, yeah, anything I said to Bitcoin, said about ETH, you could just apply to Bitcoin. The same concept. What's interesting is GMX to me right now is interesting. Sort of back at its pre-crash, like if this was our FTX crash, right? The news came out, everything did this. GMX has managed to get all the way back up to where it was, even higher at one point. Now it's pulled back. But I think GMX is clearly a winner in this scenario. And just this whole shitstorm of people not wanting to trust the centralized exchange. FTX had a lot of customers. They're going to look to trade somewhere else. I think GMX is a good candidate as to where people might go to trade. Whether or not you trust Binance, I think people might have a bad taste in their mouth with centralized exchanges, might be hesitant to put any money on any of them. So your decentralized sort of leverage trading platforms, Uniswap could probably benefit from this. I think the ecosystem as a whole does benefit from this whole fiasco, but the short to midterm, it's a bad look. It's a tough sell for, you got what's his face from Shark Tank there, flying to Washington demanding regulations because he got rugged on FTX. That's probably going to be the attitude of the average institutional investor. So it could be a while before we see that type of person, that type of entity coming back into the market. It's going to have long-term effects, but I think ultimately getting rid of Sam, getting rid of, we've had a cleansing with Do Kwon, with Celsius, with all these people that were custodying people's money, custodying their coins, and doing whatever they wanted with it. And now people are starting to realize that holding on to your own coins, being your own custodian, which is what crypto is all about, is the right way to sort of operate in this space, which I think is a net positive for sort of the crypto ethos. It kind of reminds people, like, crypto's not about using a centralized exchange. They're useful. You can use them. You can deposit, buy a coin that you can't get anywhere else, withdraw it to a wallet, but I never think it's a good idea to just have money sitting on an exchange. I've been operating that way for multiple years now. I rarely have anything on an exchange, and like I said, if it is, it's just in and out trying to get a coin that doesn't happen to trade on a Uniswap or similar DEX. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but I guess I think that, like I said, for the ethos of crypto, this might sort of realign, recenter people's focus onto what crypto is really about, and you might start to see the projects that are making real innovations shine over projects that are just, centralized and doomed to fail eventually. All right, yeah, sorry, not much of a looking at charts this week other than, just ETH. I'm not really interested in anything else. Like I said, GMX is interesting, but I'm mainly just trying to stay alive right now. I'm not going to be too actively trading this. Hedge when appropriate, and otherwise, yeah, just try to stay alive. Don't be taking too many risks right now. You lose fingers trying to buy the bottom, trying to catch knives. Wait for some stability, wait for a clear picture of what's going on, where you can sort of invest with confidence. I would recommend doing that before just buying prices that sound good or sound cheap, because they can always get cheaper. People who've been around have seen crazy minus 99%, and yeah, don't try to pick the bottom. Let's probably just end it here, and I'm gonna jump in the stream, talk to the boys, and see what's going on. All right, thank you. Bye.